is Paddy Srinivasan, who is head of product at Xylee. Quickly glancing, but keep pressing away, and you'll be curious. The results are pretty intriguing already. So, but keep plugging away on the survey, and then we'll just start our discussion here. So, you know, we've heard a lot about the products and the services that are coming out there. You know, great hardware being built and interlinked with each other, and really changing the way that, and certainly potentially meaningfully changing the way that we live at home, and you can only think about ramifications that can have in the enterprise as well, right? But doing all that requires a lot of technology that users probably never think about, right? And this is where you folks come in. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about your respective platforms, what it does, and why a platform is needed.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, Glo, you get started.
Hi, so I work for a company called Jasper. We are an Internet of Things. We're global. We provide a leading platform, and we do this through our mobile operator partners. So we're really a cloud-based company providing that platform. So that's what we do, and we think that the value proposition that IoT brings, you hear a lot of different definitions running out there, is moving a company from being a static product company to a dynamic services company. That to us is really the value proposition for IoT. So, you know, so our perspective would be, you know, if you're going to make that transition, you need a platform, you need device management, you need operators. We partner with 24 different mobile operator groups around the world, which represents about 100 mobile operator networks. We work with 1,900 enterprises, so we're very much in the middle of this from a network connectivity layer. And we actually have a partnership together, so we complement each other's services.
So Paddy, tell us a little bit about Xylee, and if you concur or disagree with Glo.
I agree. As they say, behind every beautiful product is a brilliant platform.
Yes.
If you haven't heard it, you will soon. We are the platform behind a lot of the great physical products out there. I think Nest is an outlier because you guys were able to build the product, the physical product and the software platform all at once. But most of other physical product companies don't have that luxury. They've been in the physical product space for decades, and for them to transition, as Glo mentioned, from a product company to a product as a service company is really daunting. They don't know often where to start, and the technology and the infrastructure that you need to stand up, all the cloud endpoints that they have to support to create that seamless experience that Kevin was talking about, which is out of the box, compelling user engagement. That's not easy. And our platforms help manufacturing companies or OEMs to deliver those experiences out of the box.
So, if you know, it's really from our perspective, this part of the value chain is quite critical, right? So, how do I go about? What are the elements I should look into when I'm choosing a platform? And maybe Paddy, you can go first this time, and then Glo.
Sure. I think the first thing we advise our customers to think about is security. And security comes in different flavors. Security means privacy in some contexts. Security means reliability and performance in other contexts. And security is just plain security of how do you secure the device, how do you secure the pipe, how do you secure the data once it is generated, and how do you secure the transfer of data between different entities, as we saw in the Nest example. So security is a big principle because most of the product companies are reluctant to get started primarily because of some of these considerations. So that's one big aspect. The second one is all the way on the other end of the spectrum is how do you provide that first-class, out-of-the-box customer experience? Because the expectations when we buy a connected product now is very different, vastly different from what our expectations were even 10 years back when we bought a thermostat or a sprinkler system. Our experience right now is to be instantly engaged by the manufacturer or the fulfiller that we got this device from. So the manufacturing company or even the service providers have to adapt, and the bar has been raised. So they have to really provide those engagements out of the box, otherwise they're going to be out of business.
Yeah, I think there's several factors. One is you got to be able to go to market quickly. Time to revenue is really, really important. So choosing a platform where you can rapidly launch, where you can monetize is also very, very important. So do you need to customize it, or can you just configure it quickly and get it launched? So that would be number one. I think having visibility and being able to diagnose early, having real-time information on a constant basis, seeing everything at one time, so you can adjust based on network usage and device usage, also very, very key. Operational savings. So you have to be able to really set and forget, so you can really manage automatically your cost savings, so that you maximize that. And also being able to scale. So if you're someone who's adding 10,000 devices, or if you're trying to go into 6 different countries, you got to be able to go with the demand of your service that you're offering, which then is, again, it's unlocking new revenue streams. It's making your customers have a different experience. So think about the products that you own, and then think about the products that you own that actually are connected, that you're interacting with. It's a completely different experience. So you see, churn is down, brand loyalty is up, and new revenue streams are coming in. So that's a whole different game.
And I think the key point there is speed to market, right? And speed to market and ease of use. So one of the questions we received on the Twitter feed is really, if I'm a telco and I'm exposing my network assets to this developer ecosystem, that we all, that's where the creativity is going to come from, and all these new apps and services. And if I'm bringing them in and exposing my assets to them, how do I make sure I'm doing that in a secure way, right? And you talked about security, but I think the underlying thing here is that that's why they need to talk to these, think in terms of platforms that sort of enable the capabilities and secure whatever solutions and services that are built out of from it. But having said that, what's the argument for why do I buy versus build? And I know speed to market is one of those things, but for some carriers around the world, they've actually made the choice to build. So what is the case that you folks have made in terms of why it makes more sense to buy? Globe?
Sure. We like I said, we partner with multiple carriers around the world. We're launching 7 more operators right now as we speak. It's a very busy year for us. The operators we deal with, the 3 that are sitting on the panel today, Telstra, Etisalat, AT&T, all customers of ours.
So that wasn't by design, it just
yeah, that was great. Partner here. I was trying to talk Chris into getting wireless, getting cellular backup for the home, but which we do for security. So there's a lot there. But some have 2 platforms, and it's really enterprise driven. Everything we do is really driven by the enterprise requirements. So if enterprises aren't asking for it, then we're not really focused on that. And our operator partners they're just a key partner. It's a critical success factor, and it's the way we've chosen to go to market. So we leave that up to the operator, the applications providers, let them do what they do. We just deeply integrate into the network and just make sure everything works all the time.
And I'll get back to that. I think that enterprise notion you talked about is very interesting. But Paddy,
sure,
your thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, and I think Globe's company primarily sells to the operators, and our company sells to product and device manufacturers. It is very complementary, and the story is exactly the same, which is, do you want to really invest in all of this infrastructure and really invest in the human skills, the technology skills, and the upfront capital expenses that go into building this? Or do you want to focus on your core competencies, which is industrial design, product design, and delivering a first-class customer experience out of the box? Or do you want to be working on protocols and data exchanges and building an orchestration engine and figuring out how to scale to millions of devices? Is that what you want to be doing? And most of the customers who come to us have already answered that question right off the bat. Because when they have a finite amount of money to invest in a new connected product, a smart connected product, say $5 million, where do you want to spend the money? Do you want to spend in innovating on the product side, or do you want to spend $4 million in building this infrastructure? So I think from our perspective, it's a very easy conversation.
I think the point there is, are you a product company or are you trying to be a software company, right?
Yeah. Or do you want to be a product as a service company?
Yeah. So getting back to that enterprise, because I think there's interesting lessons there as well, in terms of the opportunity and the importance of enabling IoT. So you folks work with a vast array of different enterprises, various verticals and things like that. And what are some of the early success stories you've seen from your customers in terms of implementation of IoT, and perhaps specific examples of some really sort of game-changing, transformative efforts in IoT that may have changed a customer or two? Glo, do you want to go first?
Oh, sure. Well, we think that all industries are really going to be transformed by IoT. I mean, I think in a few years, every business will be an IoT business. So there have been some early adopters. You know, whether if you're in manufacturing doing robotics, or if you're in agriculture doing, you know, farming, very specifically. We told some stories yesterday. I thought they were pretty creative, but I won't go into those. The one that I'll talk about though is GM. I mean, some people think this was a car show with all the cars that are out on the floor. So GM has been taking advantage of this for a while, and with their ever-growing portfolio of OnStar, which has really been about you know, safety and security and navigation and remote lock, unlock, and those kinds of things. Now they're making their cars into hubs, so they can collaborate with their partners in the ecosystem. And now with 4G LTE coming in, they're able to take their partners the next step and stream services into the car. So your relationship with your car now is completely different than it was. I mean, it's completely revolutionized the car industry. To take that a step further, you know, so, you know, something like a Pandora or any of those services can come in and stream. So it's great revenue for everybody, sponsored data or not. The other way that they use it is the driver can take, through telematics, they can take information about driving habits and get lower insurance rates, which is really great. GM might take the way the car is driven and use that to design their next car, their next style of car. So there's a lot going on in this space, and again, they're getting a revenue stream from this, and they're having a completely different customer experience.
And on your side?
Sure, I'd like to give two examples, one on the industrial side, one on the consumer side. On the industrial side, we have a customer who's one of the largest industrial printing companies in the world, based out of Japan. And the reason why they decided to build a smart connected printer from a business perspective is to sell a premium support offering. And a premium support offering that can help them do real-time fulfillment of consumables through the point of device. With more information comes more opportunities to do this real time, and they have found that their customers are willing to spend 20% of the cost of the actual device as an add-on premium support model. So why are they spending millions of dollars in building this product and infrastructure and spending money on platforms like us? It is because their customers are telling them, and I saw a question come, which is IoT technology-led or customer-led? And it's clearly customer-led, because no one is going to spend millions of dollars if their customers are not willing to pay 20% extra to get a premium service offering. The second example is in the premium home lighting segment. And there, the ROI, or the business reason why they are investing in it, is to provide an emotional customer connection. And emotional customer connection is great, but it has to be monetized. And the way they monetize is that once you have that intimate connection, direct connection, which the manufacturer never had with an end consumer, because they sell to distributors, and distributors go to resellers, resellers go to retailers, and by the time your device is in the hands of someone who actually uses it on a day-to-day basis, the OEM has no idea who's using it. But with IoT, you short-circuit that entire value chain, not to disintermediate the other ecosystem players, but you can form that emotional connection with the end consumer, so that you can know how the product is being used, how the user is engaging with the product, so that you can anonymize and aggregate the data to sell and market other meaningful services for them. So those are two examples with why they are doing it.
So I think that very key points from both Glo and Paddy here. And you know, one of the key questions that I think folks that are starting on this journey is this question of, if I do transform and I create these new services, so I move from product to services, what am I able to charge for that, right? And I think Paddy had some great insights there in terms of starting to actually understand 20%. That's very meaningful, and I think that's the journey we need to go on, is find out more about this, because that's going to really redefine, I think, all of our businesses here in terms of how we approach our customers. And Gloria talked about GM and what they're doing both on serving customers, but also getting information back on their products. And just like the Philips lighting example, or the smart lighting example. But I think what's interesting here, if folks see this, is that harkening back to what Chris talked about the feedback from the product, right, and how that really informs product development. We're seeing the linkages across the different vantage points that we're seeing here today already, and I think it's very interesting to be able to connect those dots and those commonalities. So, having said that, getting back to our poll, so one thing that came was pretty clear in the poll that we just did right before you came, was that when where do people go to for the connected home, right? And there's a resounding strength in these independent companies. SmartThings, Dan, Wink, some of these folks have really gained quite a bit of mind share in terms of being part of the connected home. And then your favorite retail shop comes in strong there. The mobile operator perhaps didn't come as strong as one might have expected. So from both of your perspectives, having worked and then sort of seeing the efforts of the mobile operator, what do you see as a carrier's role in terms of the connected home, but also in terms of enabling IoT as a whole as well? Glo, do you want to kick it off as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's the channel we've chosen to go through, is the mobile operator. So they are our partners. They bring a lot of value to the enterprises, tremendous assets. And together with Jasper, we go and offer additional value through maybe even a billing system, whether it's in their home region or as a company is trying to scale and go into other countries or regions. The operator is it's a key component, and I think actually driving really and implementing the entire IoT experience goes through an operator one way or another. I think it has to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, the role of the mobile operator is also evolving, right? Is mobile operator just the bike that takes things from point A to point B, or I think as we've seen from mobile operators over the last 15, 20 years, they have been really adept at changing their role as technologies evolve, and I'm sure they're going to catch up very quickly, as evident from the show here, that they are going to take a different persona as we evolve this IoT space, both on the industrial side as well as in the connected home.
So, and all the more important partnerships, right? And partnerships with folks like you.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that came through our Twitter feed, which I think very much speaks to the kind of value propositions that you folks provide, is that so customers buy products, not platforms, right? So how do we ensure that the most desired products, the most popular products that are in different platforms actually are able to interoperate? What sort of approaches are you folks taking to kind of give your customers sort of that, maybe perhaps a little bit more flexibility?
Absolutely. I think in the first mile of device discovery and device interoperability, there are several standards and working groups that are emerging and evolving, both on the connected home, like the Thread and the Oxings of the world, and on the industrial side as well.